Good evening. I am calling to order the Concord Township Board of Trustee meeting for July 6, 2022. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. Mrs. Dawson, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Dondorfer?
Present.
Mr. McIntosh?
Present.
Mrs. Lucci?
Present.
Madam Chair, I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 15, 2022 regular trustees meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Our elected official reports. We will start with our fiscal officer, Mrs. Dawson.
Thank you, Mrs. Lucci. As of June 30th, we were 50% of the way through the calendar year. Treasury balance for the 20 active funds within the Township Treasury was $14.9 million. This includes approximately $10.3 million in funds set aside for specific projects, i.e. the summer road program, the fire station, etc. Year-to-date expenditures as of June 30th are 21% of the amount appropriated for 2022. The revenue received year-to-date is 51%, so we are well within budget. Our 2021 state audit is complete. You can find the results at www.ohioauditor.gov. Click on Search Audits and look for Concord Township, Lake County to find us. Make sure you look for Lake County. There's about 7 Concord Townships in the state of Ohio. If you have any additional financial information, if you have any additional financial questions, please do not hesitate to call my office, 440-354-7516. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for another year of good audit, good reports.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So moving on to trustees, Mr. Dondorfer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It was great this evening swearing in our 4 new full-time firefighters. I think it's a testament to our commitment for public safety in the township, and I think they're going to be a great addition, and I'm really happy they're on board. So welcome to those new firefighters. Our concert series, just a reminder, tomorrow night we've been very fortunate with the weather, the first 3 concerts, and it looks like the weather will be great tomorrow, so come out and join us for a great evening. It's been very well attended. I think we had close to 500 or a little over 500 at the last concert, so it seems like everybody's really enjoying that. I did take a couple calls since our last meeting, a couple issues regarding some zoning complaints that I'm working with Heather Freeman from our zoning department. I did take a few correspondences, as well as I know that both of you did, regarding our opting out of the new fireworks state law. I did both on both sides of the coin, for and against our decision, and tried to express our opinion as a board on why we made the decision that we did, and a matter of public safety. So we had some good discussion with the people that I spoke with. So that was very, very good. Just a reminder, Concord Community Day is coming up here in August. So join us, please. It's our 200th birthday, and we're looking forward to celebrating with all of our residents. Other than that, that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Dondorfer. Mr. McIntosh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I hope everybody had a nice Independence Day, a nice long weekend, and we certainly did get to hear the results of our very restrictive legislation. At least in my corner of the township, it was business as usual, or maybe a little bit more activity, but I did have a lot of that conversation with emails, and I did notice a lot of comments on social media. Interestingly enough, I did think most of the comments we received were an outpouring of support, and thanks for doing that. So I did follow up with the Sheriff's Department too. I wanted to see, as far as the complaints and calls for or checking out on it weren't a whole lot more than last year. All things considered, it was almost equal to. So it doesn't sound like it was a problem, and I think my understanding is when they showed up, they gave a warning, and that pretty much took care of the issue. So I don't think we really had, and I know we have Sergeant Falvey here this evening. I'm sure you can speak to that in a little bit of detail. But we did have some zoning complaints or some conversations that were presented to us by email, and did address some of those. But we've also received a couple emails and some conversation about taxes and the cost and inflation. I know it's on everybody's, it's in front of everyone and we're all dealing with it. But I wanted to address a couple of things with respect to Concord Township because residents are asking, what are you doing? Or, the costs are going up. And I think it's a very meaningful thing. So I'm concerned. My neighbor, a good friend of mine, is on the Board of Revisions, and I have had a chance to talk with him about people making appeals on their property taxes. And I understand it's an issue that's affecting residents in Lake County. But I want to bring up a couple points. One, Concord Township is definitely feeling the cost of inflation. And I know our fiscal officer is dealing with it on a regular basis, that we're seeing our costs rise just like everybody else's. So our budgets are constrained as well. And I think it's important, and I know Mrs. Dawson has made herself available to residents and to talk about township finances. And we don't sit on a pile of money. We're not sitting here where we can just open up the vault and start taking care of these problems. So within the state of Ohio, township government is the most efficient form of government. I know that they talk about that routinely at Ohio, the Township Association's annual conference. Smaller government tends to be more efficient, and I think Concord Township is very efficient in how we manage our money. Speaking with property taxes, only 17% of the property tax bill of a Concord Township resident actually comes to the township. So the rest of the tax bills are going to other county entities, school boards, and so forth. So I just wanted to put that out there, that the township isn't sitting here with this great amount of ability to just relieve the cost of inflation from our residents, that we have the same problems. And townships are prohibited by state statute from saving money. We're not allowed to do that. If we carry excess funds, they must be returned to the taxpayers. So we need to act like we're a pass-through entity. When it comes to ARP funds that are coming in, and I think Administrator Rose, you said that the second portion of that funding's due later this month?
Yes, sir.
Another week or so.
Yes, sir.
Just like the CARES Act money that we received in 2020 and 2021, those funds are designed to work on certain things, and they're not just for taking it into our general fund budget where we can just do with what we want. We have a limited ability to spend those funds, and some of the things we can do with them are to pay a premium to workers that have first responder type or exposed to COVID related type things. We can pay a premium for those high risk. We can invest in infrastructure, water, sewer, broadband infrastructure. We can use it to fund administrative staffing and facilities, environmental remediation, and police and fire. So there's only so much that we can do with those funds between now and we have a timeline. We have to spend and now appropriate those funds by 2024. So
Correct.
We're not in a position to sit on those funds. So we have to spend them. They need to go into the community, and we have a finite amount of time. So it's not like the township can set that money aside and save for a rainy day, as it's been suggested. And I think I'd like to close in saying that it wasn't something that the townships were going to get. And I know we talked about this last year when the funds were allocated to the townships, that the OTA, the Ohio Township Association, did a lot of lobbying last year to get the state to recognize that. And I know there are communities that didn't feel right about the government plugging that money into the economy and thought that was the wrong thing to do. And some elected officials have chosen not to take those funds. While maybe there's some reason to that thinking, I think it would have been a disservice if we'd chosen not to do that. But we needed to take action to accept those funds, because ultimately taxpayers are going to pay that bill. And if we were to have turned it away, I think it would be a disservice to our residents, because you're going to pay the bill. So I'm glad that our community is going to have these dollars. And, in the coming months, we're going to need to make decisions about how we spend that money and how it works. So I just wanted the residents of Concord to know that, we have some limits on how we can do that. It's not this great windfall that we have to navigate these higher inflationary costs within the township and figure out how to allocate those funds. It's going to be some tough decisions to make, but just wanted to touch on that. And with that, concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. McIntosh. I hope everyone had a nice 4th. Like you said, we got to swear in some fine young men this evening, our new full-time firefighters. We appreciate their service. We appreciate them choosing Concord Township to serve all of us. As far as my own report, I did get to attend the Northeast Ohio Planning and Zoning Conference with some of our zoning staff, which was very informative. I attended some lectures on economic developments, on open space, also on zoning and procedures, which was very helpful. I also spoke with a few residents regarding some complaints of noise. I got a few calls from people who were more sort of thanking us for opting out of the, it was a tough decision. I mean, I love fireworks, and I don't want to tell people how to entertain themselves, but safety to me was the utmost factor in that. I attended our staff meeting last week. I got a few calls from some happy pickleballers. I think people are really excited to get out there, and it's hot, so they're going in the morning, but it's a great thing. The concerts have been wonderful. I've gotten people commending us for allowing that this year again, and everyone looking forward to our bicentennial celebration. And with that, we will move on to the rest of our meeting. So we will go to department reports. Our administration department, Mr. Andy Rose.
Thank you, Mrs. Lucci, members of the board, Mrs. Dawson, members of the audience. It really is hard to believe that half the year is gone, but it is. It's just, oof. But I'll start with a few items that are on the agenda. Item B is a resolution which authorizes me to vote on your behalf to dissolve the Lake County East Council of Governments. This is an organization that was formed 2010, 2011. It has not met since 2014, but due to new state regulations, this Council of Governments is subject to state audits. Since the most recent president of the COG in 2014 came from Concord Township, we are administratively responsible to fulfill the audit requirements. So I am scheduling a meeting with all of the local governments within the COG to close it down, and that will happen later this month. But I consulted with the law director, and this resolution is the result of that, so we can place the proper votes. The only other item I want to mention on the agenda is item E, which is a vote to approve a purchase order to remove, this is to remove trees from Stickney Cemetery. We have some dead trees, we have some unsafe trees that are close to the road, and we certainly don't want to have any mishaps there, so that PO is to take care of that. Moving on a very positive note, several weeks ago we did receive notification that we are receiving $50,000 from the state's capital budget. This is for the Town Hall Park restroom project that we submitted for. So I would like to thank both State Representative Jamie Callender and State Senator Jerry Serino for their efforts to secure the funding for our project. These funds will go a long way in bringing this project to fruition, and we are looking at some other grant opportunities to round out the funding to do this project, hopefully in the spring. Something that was talked about at the staff meeting, but based on some resident feedback that the trustees have received, we are going to once again place a porta potty at Concord Hills Park. There's been a good number of calls regarding this. If you remember, we removed that potty due to frequent vandalism, and we were incurring some costs. But you know, the company won't give us the damage liability insurance. So if vandalism occurs in the future, we will have to absorb that cost. And if that happens and it's vandalized and abused, I will likely lobby the trustees to once again remove it from the facility. So I remind everyone, township residents and those that use our parks, please care for our park facilities, please care for our park equipment. And if anyone sees any kind of mischief that's occurring, please contact the sheriff's office so that we can try to get to resolve this and keep our parks nice for all of our residents to enjoy. And then tying into that, many thanks go out to the service department. I think Tim's going to talk about this, but you know, they came up. We were looking for some benches for the pickleball court, and they made aluminum benches back in the shop using scrap aluminum and some old bleacher planks, and they made some beautiful benches that are out there for. And I saw people out there sitting on them and setting their stuff on them today. So I really appreciate those efforts. And then lastly, Rick, if you could bring up my picture. We're still in the bicentennial year. So our feature bicentennial picture of this meeting, it's a little bit of a collage of several summer camps that existed within Concord Township in the early mid-1900s. One of them lasted until 1990. The first picture in the lower left is a picture of Old Farm Camp, which was for boys, and the fee was $35 for a 2-week stay. Pretty amazing. And then a second camp followed, and that's the picture on the right with the tree. That's the path leading to that camp. There are no pictures of that camp, and I can only surmise it's because it was called Camp Far Alone, and it was geared for women ages 21 and older, and it mainly catered to teachers, and it was started by a school principal. And they utilized raised tent houses just like the other picture, and that fee was $30 a week, and a teacher could stay for up to 9 weeks and spend their entire summer break on the 200-acre camp. And then finally, the upper left is Camp Klein. That is the newest one. That was established in 1952. It was sponsored and managed by the Methodist Church, and that camp closed in the early 1990s. So that's a brief history of the summer camps that we had in Concord Township, and I thought early July is a great time to talk about summer camps. So that concludes my report, Madam Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. We do love the pictures, by the way. All right, Fire Department, Chief Sabo.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So we had a busy month of June. We had 224 total incidents. Of those, we had 153 EMS events with 120 transports. We had 71 non-EMS events, including 4 fires, 4 fire events inside of Concord, including 1 vehicle fire, 1 mulch fire, and 2 kitchen fires. And we had 3 fire events outside of Concord, including 1 structure fire and 2 that we were canceled en route. Now, we gave mutual aid 24 times and we received mutual aid 14 times. And we had 51 overlapping calls for about 23%. Fire Prevention Bureau was out and completed 96 total inspections, accounting for about 140 hours. They did 7 plan reviews, accounting for about 14 hours, and also provided some continuing education and conducted 1 fire investigation inside of Concord and assisted with 1 in Madison. Public education, we had 2-hour fire safety, first aid, and stop the bleed programs for 7 seniors and 2 staff members at the Concord Community Center. So that was nicely attended. And they also had a 16-hour Red Cross Wilderness First Aid Program and Stop the Bleed and Fire Safety to 17 Boy Scouts. So they're reaching out to the community and offering some public education and safety messages. They installed 1 residential lockbox and 2 were returned. Some additional projects that are happening that the Concord Fire Department is involved with from a fire prevention standpoint. Ordnance Technology Services is nearing their final occupancy inspection. Accurate Landscaping has the shell up of their building. So the fire inspectors have been in there just making sure everything's buttoned up. Ranpack is completing the last phase of their office remodel. Dr. Tina Joyce, second building is on hold due to supply chain issues. Stephen Douglas Corps on Discovery has begun construction. Wow.
Nothing to destruct there.
Wow. And it's actually coming along rather well. Wow. I need to get back on vacation.
Yeah.
Dr. Moseni's building on Auburn Road has ongoing construction. Lucky's Market has completed their addition for liquor sales, and they expect that to be opening very soon. UH Tri-Point is renovating 5 rooms on the first floor X-ray unit with the replacement of 2 new CT scanners. So that's good news. And Cometic Casket just submitted building plans on an 11,000 square foot addition. So the fire prevention's been very busy with the development going on. For the month of July, while enjoying the warm weather, we want to remind everyone that on an 85-degree day, a vehicle will reach an inside temperature of 104 degrees within 10 minutes and 119 degrees within 30 minutes. So please be mindful of those environments with pets in the car and hopefully not children, but just be aware. I always forget my chocolate treats, so I end up with a blob of chocolate in the backseat. But I'd also like to congratulate the 4 full-time firefighters. We just posted that on our Facebook page. It's a true testament to the leadership, not me, but of the rest of the officer group of Concord Fire Department and the tremendous support that we have from this board and in the faith that you have in us to conduct business as fiscally responsibly as we can and making sure that we have the right people in the right place at the right time. So thank you very much. Just lastly, just a quick update on the fire station project. If you drive by or stop by and take a look, there's quite a bit of activity happening. They're pouring the first section of the walls for the lower level. All the walls for that lower level should be complete, weather dependent, by the end of next week. And then they'll start backfilling and start working more on the upper levels. The plumbers and electricians have continue to do their rough-ins for the ground level service. So things are moving along quite well, despite some setbacks with the weather and stuff. They're really plugging along, so it's looking nice. And on the agenda for tonight, we have our first round of owner-provided equipment. So that's nice to see that we're starting to worry about appliances and furniture that's going to go into the new station. So, but I will say that a lot of what we're working on is transitioning a lot of what we already have into the new space. So if it makes sense to move stuff, then we're gonna do that as much as possible so that we save those dollars. So that's all I have, unless you have questions.
Thank you, Chief.
All right.
Chief. All right.
I did want to note that those appliances Chief is talking about are going to be reimbursed by a NOPEC grant, so
Okay.
that's why we're buying them now.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Service Department, Mr. Brown.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
In the month of June, the Service Department was busy performing road maintenance throughout the township. Our concrete slab replacement program has poured over 300 yards of concrete and are continuing in many areas of the township. Durapatch repairs are ongoing along with crack sealing of our asphalt roadways. Ditch maintenance and culvert replacements are some of the other operations performed by the crews this past month. The Concord Township joint road resurfacing projects are completed. Contractors did a fantastic job. Everything came out really good. They're doing some final punch list things, but everything is complete. Fog coat on the chip and seal roads came out beautiful. They ride nice. Real pleased with what the contractors did this year. Working with the stormwater department, the service department assisted the removal of some downed trees in Big Creek near the Williams Road Bridge. We had several calls on that. The service department continues to work with the stormwater department on projects to help mitigate the storm runoff throughout the township. As you guys mentioned, the pickleball courts, the service department was able to acquire some materials and construct the new aluminum benches that are on the courts for players when they're waiting or setting their gear down. Those benches were fabricated inside the shop. We searched for benches to purchase, and to get them shipped was almost more than what the benches were actually cost. So we did this for minimal dollars using scrap that we had, and we acquired some old used bleachers and shined them up nice so they almost look brand new. So those were installed today. And residents with questions and concerns are reminded to contact the service department at 440-350-3225 or by email at concordtwp.com under service department. That concludes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. I do want to mention, anytime there's an issue with something happening, water or something, it seems like you're on it immediately, and that
Try to be.
helps a lot, so thank you. Thank you.
I think I'll add something as well. I mean, when I mentioned earlier about fiscal and how townships perform better. I mean, I think it's what Mr. Brown talked about with building those benches is classic.
Right.
I mean, we're a small service department, a small community, but that's the kind of personal touch and the thing that we can do to save money and benefit our community at the same time.
Right.
And it's constant with the service department. They're always coming up with stuff like that saves us money, fabbing stuff, repairing things on their own. They do a phenomenal job, and Tim does a great job running that department.
Thank you.
Yeah, resourceful, and it sounds like there's still a lot of life left in those benches, so makes tons of sense. Thank you. Zoning Department, Mrs. Freeman.
Okay, good evening. During the month of June, the zoning department's been pretty busy. We processed 48 zoning permit applications, bringing the year-to-date total to 206 applications. Last year, we did 383, so we're probably on track to have around the same for 2022. The majority of the zoning permits issued in June were for residential projects. However, there were two larger industrial projects that I just want to highlight briefly. Fire Chief did mention these projects. We've done a lot of the plan review as well, in addition to his team. But Cometic Gasket, we issued the zoning permit, which is an existing business on Auburn Road for a substantial building addition, about 11,000 square feet. And then the Stephen Douglas Corporation, a new business moving to Concord, brand new office and manufacturing building on Discovery Lane. So we're seeing an uptick in some of that industrial and manufacturing in Concord. Also in June, we approved 11 new dwelling units, bringing the year-to-date total to 60 new dwelling units in Concord. Last year, we had a total of 81, so I'm projecting that we're going to exceed that for 2022. With Eagle Point just opening up, there's 46 more lots over there that will more than likely go fairly quick, and there's still some building sites available over in Hillshire Woods and Stone Ridge Estates. So I'm projecting that we're going to be well over last year's figures. During the month of June, our office also received 24 new complaints about potential zoning violations that we've started investigating. Also during the month of June, the BZA approved one variance request application and they denied one variance request application. And during the month of June, the Zoning Commission did conditionally approve a site plan review application for the Classic Clean Auto Wash that is proposing to be located at the corner of Cryle and Goldport. That's all I have for you this evening. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rec Department, Ms. Esker.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Summer is in full swing in Concord Township as we continue to celebrate our bicentennial year and our vibrant and charming township. So let's take a look at what your recreation department has planned for the rest of this glorious summer. Rick, PowerPoint, please. Thank you. Our bicentennial concert series is well underway with great music and even greater crowds. Our theme this year is Concord Through the Decades as we explore music from the 1940s through today's current hits, one decade at a time. So far, we've enjoyed 1940s swing, 1950s doo-wop, and the British invasion of the 60s. Our next concert is tomorrow evening, July 7th, with the Headlands Beach Experience. We head into the 1970s tomorrow night with this high-energy classic rock band. It dabbles in blues, funk, reggae, country, and even a little metal. They specialize in blues-based classic rock and danceable jams, performing covers and originals, and we hope to see everybody there. The Breakfast Club performs for the first time in Concord on July 14th. This band is exactly what you think it is. It's the ultimate 80s rock tribute band. They've opened for Coolio, Nelly, Bret Michaels, and Lita Ford. They cover songs from Journey, Duran Duran, U2, The Cars, Def Leppard, Bon Jovi, Van Halen, AC/DC, Motley Crue, the list goes on. So don't stop believing. You're gonna wanna see this performance. Okay, on to the next one. The Saints take our stage on July 21st with 1990s Americana rock with a hint of country and a mix of original music. They cover songs from artists like Tom Petty, the Goo Goo Dolls, Pearl Jam, Counting Crows, Van Morrison, and Michael Stanley. And our summer concert series comes to a strong finish on July 28th with local band Risk Factor. They cover music from across the rock spectrum. They get people moving, dancing, and singing along. Please keep in mind that we have food trucks and craft vendors at each concert, plus we'll raffle off a special bicentennial gift basket at each band break. Our bicentennial concert series was made possible by the generosity of our sponsors, and I'd like to mention a list. Barrington Homes, Civil and Engineering Consultants, Inc., Concord Collision, Denora Tech, First Federal Lakewood Bank, Concord Branch, New Connecticut Chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, NOPEC, Normandy Village, Stephanie Parker, Keller Williams Realtor, Vista Springs, Quail Highlands, and William D. Nelson DDS. And again, our concert series is made possible by all of our sponsors. But the celebration continues. Our 2022 Bicentennial Community Days are going to be spectacular this year with an upscale Uncorked on Friday, August 5th, and an activity-packed Bicentennial Family Day on August 6th. A special amped up Uncorked kicks off our Bicentennial Community Days this year on Friday evening, August 5th. The Thirsty Philly is going to provide signature cocktails, beer and wine, and guests can peruse our Bicentennial raffle. The Rock Radio Band will play hits and dance favorites, and local favorite food trucks will provide a nice variety of dinner options. This fun and relaxing evening is for adults only, but as you know, the next day is all about kids. Saturday, August 6th is our Bicentennial Family Day. The day begins at 8 a.m. with the traditional 5K run and the department's pancake breakfast, and the evening activities kick off at 4 p.m. with a special Bicentennial flag raising. We keep planning this and amping this flag raising up a little notch at a time. This is going to really be special. And that's followed by a jam-packed schedule of activities at the Town Hall campus and at the Old Stone School. And this wonderful two-day celebration comes to a close with a spectacular fireworks celebration around 10 p.m. We invite everyone to attend this special event as we celebrate Concord Township's 200th birthday together. Recreation Department's leisure classes offerings in July include baton for kids, dance classes for kids, including biddy ballet, preschool ballet, and hip hop and cheer. We're also offering basketball camps, tennis camps, martial arts for adults and kids, make and take summer soaks and bath bombs, gentle morning yoga, yoga Pilates fusion, and getting started with Medicare. Space is available in most classes. Just sign up online at concordtwp.com or contact the Recreation Department directly for immediate assistance. We've added an extra senior social this month. On Tuesday, June 12th, Susan Canavino will present part 2 of her fascinating presentation on the lives of Joe and Rose Kennedy. Part 1 was really popular with our crowd. This is a virtual presentation and it can be accessed via Zoom at home or come on down to the community center to watch it together with friends. Our next in-person senior social is Wednesday, July 13th, when guests will create beautiful art using Lake Erie beach glass. And on July 20th, guests are invited to take a trip to Century Village in Burton, Ohio, managed by the Geauga County Historical Society, and experience local pioneer life. And then on July 27th, all are invited for a fierce but friendly game of bingo at the community center. Senior socials are held on Wednesday afternoons and begin at 1 p.m. They're free, open to the public, and new friends are always, always, always invited. So like Mr. Rose said, this year feels like it's just flying by. So please make time to celebrate all the good things in life this summer. We have those beautiful pickleball courts with those beautiful new benches. By the way, the service department does so much for recreation in terms of fixing things around the building and using creativity to make our lives better. So thank you so much. And also shout out to Rick Wolbrash. Happy birthday, Rick, this month. Thanks for all you do.
Oh, happy birthday,
Happy
Rick.
birthday,
Rick.
So there's a lot to be joyful about and a lot of opportunities to share it together. So thanks so much for your time tonight.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Deb.
Deborah. Thanks, Deb.
Moving on to Concord Law, Sargent and Falvey.
Good evening. For the month of June 2022, we responded to 1,316 pieces of activity. 5 were injury accidents, 11 were property damage accidents, 2 domestic violence arrests, 3 disorderly conduct arrests. We arrested a male for improper handling of a firearm, an adult female for theft, juvenile male for vandalism of a patrol car, theft, assault on a police officer, and disorderly conduct. Tri-Point, we had a male attempt to escape a deputy. Adult male for disorderly conduct, juvenile female for criminal damaging, adult male for OVI, and adult female for aggravated menacing. 57 household alarms, 11 citations for traffic violations, 103 warnings for traffic violations, and 12 disturbances, 57 suspicious circumstances, vehicles or persons, 10 thefts, and 14 welfare checks, just to name a few. We conducted a mass casualty training at Lakeland Community College. All the sheriff's deputies were mandated to go to this training, which they all did. It was collaborative between all the law enforcement and all the fire departments within Lake County. That was at Lakeland Community College. Got a lot of good training and experience with that, so we're prepared for the future if we need it. Hopefully we never do. Also, I went to Denora Tech and did a business safety training with their personnel on Discovery. We had 18 firework complaints. All of them, some of them were UTLGOA, meaning unable to locate, gone on arrival. The ones that we did observe, we did stop. People seemed receptive. And we did not have to go back to many. I think we got called to a location twice. If we went back a third time, we were gonna do some enforcement action, but that did not end up happening. And that was between July 2nd through the 4th. So that was the amount within that time span. As far as complaints that came in. Yeah, not too bad. So it wasn't just on one day. That was multiple collective. Correct. Other than that, I don't think we have any other issues.
How was, I mean, I realized those are Concord Township numbers, but I also realized to a certain extent that we share the sheriff's department with other townships. How was it across the spectrum?
But Painesville Township had 13 complaints that were reported to us. Those were unfounded too, as far as when we get in the area, they're no longer going off. Or when we came in the area, they were well within the boundaries of what they came up with. Yes. Perry, I did not bring up. I was listening to the radio though, and there was very little that came in Perry. Leroy, I don't recall one complaint coming in for Leroy.
Thank you.
And that concludes the report.
Thanks,
All
sir.
right, thank you. Moving on to the audience portion. Anyone here that would like to speak? Don't see any, so moving on to old business, which there is none, and next, new business.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the June financial report as submitted.
I will second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Chair, I will make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-15, authorizing the Administrator of Concord Township to dissolve the Lake County East Council of Governments.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Sounds like we need to get it done.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the assignment of part-time firefighter paramedic Kyle Langer to firefighter 1 effective July 3rd, 2022.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Madam Chair, I will make a motion to approve PO to Myers Appliance for $8,400 for fire station owner provided equipment.
Second.
Any discussion?
Other than, I mean, this is new station equipment, and I think we're getting reimbursed by NOPEC, so.
Yeah, the approval was already done by NOPEC, so in approximately 2 to 3 weeks, we'll get that money in our checking
Great.
account.
For the full amount?
Yes.
Great,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
All in favor?
Aye. Madam Chair, I move to approve PO to Seacrest Enterprises LLC in the amount of $12,800 for tree removal of the trees at the Stickney Cemetery.
Which is 4 trees.
4 trees.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I know we talked about it in the staff meeting. I happened to be on my bike and run past them yesterday. They are very old looking, and don't doubt they're going to be sizable effort to take down. They're huge.
We need to do it
They're
sooner.
huge.
I mean,
Then
those
later.
trees are hundreds of
Yeah,
years
yeah.
old, and they're in really rough condition.
And better to do the ones that will need it by next year,
Good on.
better price.
Yes.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on to future meetings and announcements. Mrs. Dawson, can you please read?
Thank you, Mrs. Lucci. On July 13th at 7 p.m., there'll be the Board of Zoning Appeals held here at Town Hall. July 20th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., trustee office hours in the conference room. 7:30 p.m., regular trustee meeting here at Town Hall.
Thank you very much. This concludes our meeting for this evening. Have a good evening.
Good evening.